Whenever the corporate press or the left writes some ridiculous fake news, I actually appreciate it because it's not the ridiculous fake news I fear, it's the fake news that appears to be real. This is a big challenge, right? You get a story and it says like Donald Trump, committed fraud or something, and they make it sound as real as possible. And the real story of Donald Trump's fraud is that there was no trial. It was a summary judgment. The quote unquote victims, the lenders, said he never committed fraud and we want to do more business with him. And they said, doesn't matter. We say it's fraud. That's scary. But this is why I like the absurd fake news, because then you can show it to people and be like, dude, they're lying to you. Don't believe it. Question everything. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you this masterpiece. From Salon, men punching random women in New York City, a desperate last gasp of the male rage fueling MAGA. That's right. Because the men who are wandering around New York City punching women in the face are Trump supporters, apparently. Oh boy. This is like they took Jussie Smollett and they just said, fire away, full auto, Jussie Smollettism. All of these guys punching women, Trump supporters. Okay, they're not literally saying that. They say random New York City attacks are an extreme manifestation of men feeling entitled to women's time and attention. No, it is crazy people and criminals who you let out of jail based on policies overwhelmingly supported by women, then punching these women in the face. You know what I am mostly offended by? I can appreciate the article because it's easy to debunk, and you show it to someone and they're going to be like, oh, geez. It's just so absurd. It can show you how they lie about everything. What offends me the most is that I didn't make the article. Don't you know who I am? I'm the guy who tweeted that I thought it was funny women were being punched in the face in New York. And, this is what I tweeted. It's got 9.75 million views. And I love this. So MacArthur was right, responded, they hated him because he spoke the truth when no one else would. The point of this tweet, when I said I think it's funny that women in New York City are getting punched in the face, is not that in any way I enjoy the pain of any of these individuals or anything like that. It's not schadenfreude. It's that, like, overwhelmingly people voted for what they wanted, and this was a manifestation of what they wanted, and now they're complaining about it. This is not schadenfreude. I can explain it very simply. You have people in New York saying, I want to vote for policies in which they release criminals from jails. By doing so, you increase the risk you will get attacked by these criminals. Now, for the average person who accepts that, that's totally fine. You're allowed to vote for these things. But for the people who are screaming and complaining, and I'm like, actions meet consequences. It's ironic in a sense that the policies that were meant to make a more perfect union that they voted for have in fact made things worse. It's great irony. Irony is a form of humor. Calm down. I hope these women are safe. I hope they're not hurt. And I hope they vote to stop these things. Now, of course, some women said, I didn't vote for this and I have no choice but to live there. And it's like, I don't believe that. Sorry, you're never going to make an argument that you have to live in New York City. I can certainly understand because of issues of like criminal convictions, because of business contracts or family, you can't leave New York State, but you don't have to live in New York City and get punched in the face. I suppose if you're like a city worker, you have to. So there are some exceptions. It's not absolute. Here's the article from Salon. Men are punching random women on the streets of New York City. As usual with these kinds of diffuse and chaotic stories, there's much that is unknown, including how often it's happening, how many people are involved, or whether it's at all coordinated. Ooh, that's right. A group of men have teamed up, planned to go around punching women in the face. What we do know is it is already alarming. CNN reported that dozens of women have discussed being victims on social media and formally interviewed 6 of them. NBC News reports that there have been at least 3 arrests. CBS News reports that NYPD released images last week of a 4th man wanted for allegedly punching a woman in Union Square. Even reality TV star Bethany Frankel says she's been victimized. I'd like to introduce these women to harsh reality. Now, of course, there are many post-liberal, former Democrats, and maybe even like moderate holdouts, women, who understand the nature of reality. And that is, Men are crazy. No, not that men are crazy, but men are aggressive. Men are not women. And there's pros and there's cons to the behaviors of men and women, but men tend to be larger, have more muscle mass, more bone density, more skin collagen, more aggression, and thus you are likely to get, even with the slightly smaller of the population, there's slightly less men than women, you're going to get, look, if you've got 2 million people in Manhattan, it only takes 15 people to go around punching women for it to create a problem for women because they're punching lots of women. And that happens with guys. And so there are good guys. And there are more good guys than bad guys. And these good guys want to protect women. In the reality of the world, you have social norms and gender norms based on protecting women, not just from men, but from external threats. Men are the disposable gender. I don't mean that to be disparaging, but it's true. If you have 99 men, if you have 100 women and 100 men in a tribe, and 99 women die, that tribe is done. They can't have enough babies to come back from this. That woman's going to have a baby every 9 months. And then maybe in 20 years, assuming she has enough kids and some of them are female, they can try to repopulate, but an aging population will dwindle. If 99 men die and you have 100 women, they will face challenges, but likely survive because women can make more humans and men cannot. Now, to be fair, women and men together make more humans, sure. But men can only literally seed and women can produce. So one man can have 100 kids in 9 months. A lot of work for one guy, but you get my point. This means that men have to protect women, at least pre-industrial civilization. Now we're in industrial era. What do men have to do? I mean, there's cops, there's guns, women can be armed. So what happens now is you enter into a society where men do protect women and they have laws as such. But over the past couple of decades, feminism has taken the front seat. Women are now voting for whatever they want. They're voting for progressive policies, sidelining men. They're not interested in the strong masculine man who will take charge. They're interested in policies that they think make sense, and that's fine. There is a voting distinction between men and women for whatever reason. You can look at the minutiae and see that some women are conservative, some aren't, but there's voting patterns at large. They then vote to release violent, deranged men, and those men will then go around punching them in the face. So, of course, instead of accepting the reality that there are gender roles for a reason, not that we should maintain them in force, but that they do exist, and women would greatly benefit from men being held responsible for these actions, and they greatly benefit from men protecting them from bad people, including other women. Instead of accepting that, they say, it's MAGA! Men feel entitled. Okay, dude, look. This is why I said it's funny. Look at this headline, okay? I wrote that I think it's funny this is happening. This is how they respond to it, okay? This is quite literally a fire truck on fire, all right? We're going to pass laws to make this city better and safer. Oh no, the consequences of our actions. That's irony, okay? I wish it wasn't happening, but come on. Here we go. Women report being assaulted by men of different races and ages. Still, across the different stories, a couple of similarities pop up. The alleged victims are mostly young and pretty, and most of them say they were minding their own business when they were attacked. Some were on their phones or reading tablets. Others were speaking to friends or daydreaming. Whatever they were doing, they were just living their lives, and that, it seems, is what enraged their assailants. Yes, crazy guys. You see, the MAGA guy isn't the dude who thinks he's entitled to a woman. It's the guy who wants to white knight, be all ripped and saying like, I'll protect you, ma'am. That's what they dream of. These guys are crazy low-value beta males who are angry they can't actually get a woman, so they attack them. Here's the problem for you, ladies. There was a video called 10 Hours of Walking Through New York as a Woman, where simply saying, how do you do, was deemed as harassment. So what do you think's going to happen when you're walking down the street and there's a guy approaching you to punch you in the face? Dude, what guy is going to walk up and intervene? Now, don't get me wrong. Me, but I don't live in New York anymore. I lived in New York for a while, moved out, and I said, this place is crazy. And now I'm in West Virginia. And you know what? I ain't got nothing to worry about. You know why? Because the ladies out here are strapped. If a guy started to walk up to a woman in West Virginia, where it's not very dense population-wise, and like it was in a creepy and threatening manner, the woman would simply just put her hand on her revolver in her in her holster and be like, how's it going? The guy'd be like, and he'd walk away. I saw a guy walking down the street with a crossbow once and a bunch of bolts, and I just was like, oh, whatever. What do you think would happen if a woman was minding her own business, walking down the sidewalk in a West Virginia small town, and some guy started walking up to her, looking angry? She'd step back, and she'd be like, is there a problem? And the guy reaches his fist, and she'd pull out a gun. But here's the reality. No guy is going to walk around West Virginia looking for a hit because he will just get shot by one of hundreds of people. Because the guys out here ain't going to stand for that neither. You go to one of these West Virginia towns and you strike a woman, you're going to have a bunch of dudes beating the crap out of you. And when the police show up, ain't going to be like in a big city. Sheriff's going to show up and say, what happened? And the guys are all going to be like, that guy hit that lady. And the lady's going to be like, he hit me. And they're going to be like, okay. And they're going to arrest the bad guy. You go to New York City, you can't have a weapon. You can't defend yourself. The woman gets hit and the guy goes, look, man, if I try to stop that guy, they're going to Daniel Penny me. They're going to put me in jail. I ain't going anywhere near that. You voted for it. Hey, the guys voted for it too. Not every woman voted for it, but you live here now. That's the thing. They're like, where are all the good guys to protect these women? You arrest them. The male rage. No. Daniel Penny tried to save people on a train from a guy threatening to kill him, and now he's going to go to jail. Or at least they're trying to put him in jail. Hopefully he doesn't. So what guy in New York City is going to intervene to stop these men who are going and punching women in the face? Tain't nobody, because they don't want to go to jail. And I don't blame them. I get it. Man, in Philly, you had that crazy story a few years ago where a woman got raped on a train. A dude actually raped a woman on a train. Well, everybody watched and they filmed it. Why? I'm not going to jail. The state says they will lock you up. Yeah. Come to West Virginia or Florida. I don't know about Texas so much, but Texas is better. She goes on to say, whatever the scale of this problem eventually turns out to be, it's not surprising these stories have gone viral and captured the imagination, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the excuse the angry man concocts, the impetus is always the same. The eyes of women are directed at someone or something that is not him, and he is indignant over it. Dude, the overall majority of guys ain't going anywhere near you, lady. It's just the crackpots. Now, good guys would like to protect you from the crackpots. It feels good to protect other people, but you don't want us to. You threaten to arrest people like Daniel Penny. And now you're going to cry, oh, poor baby, because you're reaping the consequences of your actions. It is not just that they vote for it. It is that they arrest Daniel Penny. And for the people who say, well, I didn't do that and I have to live here. Did I see you organize a protest to support Daniel Penny? Are you going out and marching in the streets? You live in this place. This world is all around you. I don't blame everyone who's trapped there. I get that. Not everybody likes what's going on, but it doesn't matter. Overwhelmingly, they will arrest, they will lie, they will cheat, they will steal, and they will allow these criminals to persist. Stop supporting it. I don't know what to tell you. She says, these stories resonate as well because the nation is having a moment of increasingly unhinged male fury at women for daring to have lives that are centered around something other than catering to a man's every whim. Dude, lady, I don't care what you do. I left. I don't care about New York. That's why I think it's funny. I don't care that you vote for this stuff. I don't care. I don't care for your time. I don't care for your eyes. I don't care what you think. I don't care for your attention. I don't care for your viewership. I don't care. I left. I would much rather have some chubby middle-aged West Virginia woman with 2 guns at her hips watching me being like, yep, anybody try to hit me, I'll shoot him. I'd be like, wow, great. You can watch my show. I think we get along. But for you, lady in New York, we got nothing in common. You live your life. You have fun. You do you. But guess what? When you vote for this stuff and then cry about it, I will laugh at you. And then they're like, how dare you laugh at these women, Tim? Dude, what? Get out of here. They arrested Daniel Penny. Of course I'm going to laugh. I'm not saying women did. I'm saying they vote for a system. They appoint these individuals. Not interested. It's unleashed by Donald Trump and the MAGA movement. There's an upswell of loud male entitlement shouting at us from every corner. No, lady. There's an exodus from New York. People went to Florida and Texas, and they voted for what they liked. They said, I don't want to live in this place. You vote this way. That's fine. I'm out. You see, the reality is they want to blame Trump, but we all left. I'm not even the biggest Trump supporter. I like the guy. I'll vote for him. The foreign policy I thought was pretty good. Domestic policy seems to be the right path. Unfortunately for you guys, he's the best president of our generation. I can't speak for all presidents. I've only been alive for 38 years. Look at this. We see it in the male fans of Jordan Peterson, who clamor to his events to hear him croak out a just so story about how lobsters justify their faith in male dominance. Quite literally not true, not the argument. The argument of the lobsters is that hierarchy exists in many different species, not just in humans. Or the rise of trad wives online who make a living pretending they're unemployed or housebound. These are women, not men. It's amazing. Or Ben Shapiro setting fire to a Barbie doll. That I have no idea, because he can't stand that a blockbuster comedy starring a woman is about anything other than a quest for male affection. This is so ridiculous. Or MAGA pundits, did I make this one? Telling lies about birth control in hopes of tricking women and having babies before they're ready. Oh, come on. Please tell me that I still made the cut on this one. No, I don't think I did. I think this was before I responded to it. You see, I'm over here insulting these women for being stupid. And, where's the hit piece on me? What am I doing wrong? Charlie Kirk getting all the attention. No, I'm kidding. Charlie Kirk put out the statement, and then it was articles like that I responded to. What else? Or conservatives writing op-eds that blame women for male loneliness, telling women they must self-sacrifice to relieve male pain by marrying Donald Trump voters, or right-wing men yelling because Taylor Swift has cats. That's weird. Or because she dates a hunky, vaccinated NFL player instead of, having babies with a guy in ill-fitting cargo shorts. It's so weird how it's like there's a handful of people who politically disagree with you. Therefore, that explains why guys are punching you in the face in your city. Laughable. Okay, he says, but there's one big difference between the male tantrum we're experiencing now and the backlashes of old. This time, women aren't really playing along. A few maybe, especially if they can get a piece of the sweet trad wife income. But in the past, backlashes tended to draw large numbers of women along, or at least convince them to silence their opinions, lest they be labeled a man-hater. Now there just seems to be much less interest among women in placating men by silencing ourselves or compromising on basic rights. All the male belly aching about Barbie and Taylor Swift did nothing to dent ticket sales. Roe v. Wade was overturned, and instead of scaling back our claims on our own bodies, women revolted, blah, blah, blah. Lady, I literally don't care what you do with your life. I'm going to sit back in my lounge chair. It's a massage chair, by the way, I got on Amazon, and it massages my calves and my back. And I'm going to stare at my phone as you whinge about your own policies that you enact, and now you're getting punched in the face. And I'm going to go, ha ha, and a hearty chortle as you reap the benefits of your own ideology. I don't care. That's just it. I don't live there. This is what I can't stand. The people are mad at me because I said, look, I think it's funny women in NYC are getting punched in the face. Sorry, that was a reality. Ashley St. Clair says, some of us didn't vote for this and we have no choice but to live in NYC. Well, look, Ashley's great. I'm a fan of Ashley. And that's unfortunate that you live surrounded by these people. I don't know what to tell you. You have no choice but to live in NYC. I don't believe you're forced to live in New York City. There's very, very rare occasions where you have to live in the city. And there's certainly other places you could be. You could be in Long Island or Queens or something. It's better, not the best. And let's see how people responded to me reposting this. Raymond G. Stone says you made the big leagues based. Chris Burnett, this isn't something to be proud of. This is something to be ashamed of. Chris Brunette, sorry. Never going to happen. Washed up economist Chris Brunette. As I've laid out in this video over the past 20 minutes, you don't get to make articles blaming men, blaming MAGA, crying about your own policies, and then saying, we will not shut up. I don't care if you talk or don't talk. I don't live there anymore, and y'all get to have exactly what you wanted. This is my point. Y'all can't come to me and say, Tim, how dare you say this about women? Because this is the commentary you get in New York City. Next thing they're going to say is, you can't blame all of us for the words of one lady, Amanda Marcotte. This is the corporate press of New York City. I worked in it in more than one company. I know exactly what they're doing, what they're talking about, how they respond to this. I get it. Not all women, of course. But when you look at the demographics, 70% voting Democrat. Oh, come on. Okay, I'm not here to blame literally everybody for everything. It's generalities. But the overwhelming majority of people are getting exactly what they want, and they will not be told to shut up. Well, then don't shut up, lady. I don't care. But you're going to get punched in the face. I ain't going to be there to protect you, and Daniel Penny certainly will not either. And the more you do these policies, the more crackpot psychopath dudes are going to attack you, and the good guys will bow the F out. So be it. It's what you ask for. So, when I post what I post, And I have no problem posting these things, nor will I apologize ever for having these opinions. Everybody can scream in my face. I don't care. I'm not going to pander to anybody. I'm not going to say, you know what, I was wrong about that. Please give me more viewership. I'm going to say, lady, you're nuts, okay? You can scream into the wind all day and night, but all you're doing is telling good guys not to intervene. And for like Ashley St. Clair and people I know in New York who I'm friends with who are dealing with this stuff, the reality is, so long as this is the voice of New York City, it doesn't matter if it's a strong conservative MAGA man or an effeminate liberal, none of them will step up to defend you if the policies of New York are to arrest them for intervening. So, this is the reality of New York. Women overwhelmingly voted for it. Many of the men who are trying to white knight for these ladies voted for it too. I don't know what else you can expect. I find it funny. Thanks for hanging out. Next segment's coming up at 6 p.m. on this channel, and I'll see you all then.